When people stand in front of a store window and admire something beautiful behind the glass, most of them never step inside. They pause, they look, and they imagine what it would be like to own it, and that they walk away. They don't ask the price, they don't touch it, they don't seriously consider it. And the reason is simple. On some level, they already know they're not prepared to pay what it costs. Dreams work the exact same way. Everyone has them. Everyone looks at them from a safe distance. Everyone says, that would be amazing. But very few people are willing to face the price tag attached to turning that dream into reality. Every dream you've ever had comes with a cost, not a symbolic one, a real one. And most people spend their entire lives pretending they don't see it. They talk about wanting more, but they avoid the uncomfortable truth that wanting and paying are two very different things. I learned something years ago that completely changed how I look at success. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming a different person. But what almost no one tells you is that becoming that person requires letting parts of yourself die. It requires giving up habits that feel safe. It requires walking away from routines that feel familiar. It requires releasing relationships that keep you small. And most painfully, it requires giving up the excuse that someone else is responsible for how your life turned out. That is the real price, and for most people, it feels too high. I remember being 25 years old, broke, stressed, and embarrassed by my own situation. Bills piling up, dreams that felt big but distant. I wanted more out of life. I wanted to matter. I wanted to live differently. But instead of doing the work, I was doing what most people do. I was watching. I was admiring people who had succeeded and telling myself how lucky they were. I wanted their results without their discipline. I wanted their freedom without their sacrifice. I kept waiting for a shortcut, a lucky break, or some hidden trick that would let me skip the uncomfortable part. Then my mentor asked me a question that completely exposed me. He said, "Are you interested in success or are you committed to it?" I said I was interested. He looked at me and said, "That's the problem. Interested people do what's convenient. Committed people do what's required." That moment cost me my comfort, but it gave me clarity, and clarity is expensive, but it's worth everything. Here's a truth most people avoid. Your dream does not care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if your day was hard. It doesn't care if the people around you don't understand why you're working so much. The price of your dream is fixed. You can negotiate with people. You can argue with circumstances, but you cannot negotiate with cause and effect. You either pay the price or you walk away. When you see something priced at $100 in a store, you don't stand there arguing with the tag. You don't try to emotionally bargain your way into paying half. You either buy it or you leave. But with dreams, people do something strange. They want the outcome without the exchange. They want success without surrender. They want progress without discomfort. They want transformation without change. That's why so many people stay stuck, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they are unwilling to be uncomfortable. They want the harvest without the planting, the results without the repetition, the body without the workouts, the freedom without the discipline, the respect without the responsibility. They want everything success provides, but they resist everything success demands. I've met thousands of people over the years, and the pattern is always the same. Everyone wants financial freedom, but very few are willing to live beneath their means. Everyone wants confidence, but few are willing to face their fears daily. Everyone wants respect, but not everyone wants to become disciplined, reliable, and consistent. We live in a culture that sells the lie of effortless success. Get rich quick. Change your life in 30 days. Build a business without risk. All of it feeds the fantasy that sacrifice is optional. It isn't. Every meaningful achievement in human history required sacrifice. Athletes gave up comfort. Entrepreneurs gave up security. Artists gave up approval. Leaders gave up ease. Parents give up convenience. The formula has never changed. Sacrifice always comes first, but sacrifice isn't suffering. It's not punishment. It's not loss. Sacrifice is choosing what matters most over what feels good now. It's an investment. Just like a farmer doesn't lose seeds when he plants them, you don't lose comfort when you trade it for growth. You're putting it into the ground so it can multiply later. The tragedy is that most people quit too early. They sacrifice for a short period, don't see immediate results, and decide it isn't working. They return to their old routines, their old distractions, their old identities. Years pass. They're still standing outside the window, still dreaming, still wondering why nothing changed. People avoid the price tag because of fear, fear of failing, fear of giving everything and getting nothing back, fear of discovering they weren't capable after all. But the cost of not trying is always higher, always. You may fail while chasing your dream, but if you abandon it, you guarantee a quieter, heavier failure, the kind that shows up as regret. Think about someone you admire deeply. Ask yourself what they gave up when no one was watching. What routines they abandoned. What comfort they sacrificed. What doubts they pushed through. They paid the price long before they saw the reward. Life doesn't work in reverse. You don't get proof first. You don't get motivation first. You don't get results first. Payment comes before the product. Discipline before freedom. Action before confidence. The foundation is poured before the house appears. Real sacrifice often isn't about giving up obvious negatives. That's easy. The real challenge is giving up good things for great things. Comfort isn't evil. Relaxation isn't wrong. Entertainment isn't dangerous by itself. But when these things replace growth, they quietly sabotage your future. Most evenings are where dreams slowly die. People come home tired, tell themselves they deserve rest, and give hours to distractions. There's nothing immoral about that. But those hours could have built skills, reshaped thinking, or moved an idea forward. That's the sacrifice no one talks about, trading harmless habits for powerful ones. The same is true in the morning. Successful people don't have better days. They make different choices with the same hours. They wake up earlier than required. They feed their minds. They move their bodies. They plan intentionally. It's not dramatic, it's deliberate. Sacrifice also shows up in relationships. Not everyone is meant to come with you to the next level. When you change, some people feel threatened. Your growth becomes a mirror they don't want to look into. Choosing growth sometimes means choosing distance, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Life offers two invoices, discipline now or regret later. Both cost something. One compounds in your favor, the other compounds against you. When you sacrifice intentionally, something powerful happens. You begin to change internally. Your patience grows. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence becomes grounded. Over time, opportunities start appearing, not because of luck, but because you've become someone who can recognize and handle them. Sacrifice is seasonal. You don't give up forever. You give up until momentum shifts, until discipline becomes natural, until effort produces leverage, until the person you've become no longer needs the same sacrifices. But it only works when sacrifice has purpose. Random struggle is pointless. Strategic discomfort builds futures. Your dream doesn't require one dramatic moment, it requires thousands of small decisions. Getting up when it's uncomfortable, saying no when it's tempting, staying consistent when it's boring. These moments shape your identity. The hardest sacrifice is often identity, letting go of who you've been, releasing old stories, dropping self-images that cap your potential. You cannot outperform the version of yourself you believe in. Growth demands uncertainty. That's why people stay stuck in familiar dissatisfaction rather than risk unfamiliar progress. Attention is another daily sacrifice. Focus is expensive in a distracted world. Guarding it requires saying no constantly. But deep work only happens where attention is protected. Uncomfortable actions separate those who grow from those who stall. Difficult conversations, hard tasks, fearful steps. Done early, they create freedom. Avoided, they create weight. Every season has its work. Planting feels invisible. Cultivating feels slow. Harvest feels sudden. Most people quit in planting season because they mistake silence for failure. But when you stay long enough, the return is more than success. It's strength, it's resilience, it's self-trust. Sacrifice doesn't just build dreams, it builds people. It forges character. And once forged, that character outlasts circumstances. The grind isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Time will pass regardless. The only question is who you'll become while it does.